Today I'm going to show you how to do your practice stitching for sewing. So I take my fabric and I want to have it inside out. So this is the front of the fabric. And I want to put it like this. Okay, then I'm going to take a couple of pins and I'm going to place them in the fabric, and this is just going to help hold them together. For this small piece of fabric, you probably only need 2 per side. Be careful not to poke yourself with these. If you want a thimble, I put some thimbles in there as well. So what you can do with a thimble, oops. Put it like this so that when you're coming through, you don't poke yourself. The very first thing that you need to do is thread your needle. So you take the end of the thread. If you have a really scraggly end of thread, you need to take the scissors and cut it. And then you place it through the eye of the needle. Now, a lot of students, what I see is they tie a knot right here. Don't do that. Take your thread and extend it. I like to do about an arm's length or so that you have that double thread. Then you take your scissors and you cut it. By the way, the thread that you choose should match your fabric. I chose red so that it would stand out and have a lot of contrast, and so you'd be able to see it. All right, so then the next thing that I would do is tie a knot. So here's my trick that I like to do. I included a video that shows you a different way to tie a knot as well. So I take my 2 fingers and I loop it around, and then I go through the loop many times. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So notice I'm holding this tight, and then I'm putting the string through the middle. All right, then I let go really carefully, and I kind of guide it down to the end. And look at that nice big knot. That knot is going to stay in there really well. All right, now I'm ready to start my running stitch. I'm going to take my thread, go all the way through. If you want to just pull it all the way through and then come back. Try to be in a line. When we do this for our pillows, you're going to have an actual line to follow. Okay, so you might get kind of tangled like I just did. It's no big deal, especially if you catch it right away. Oops. Okay, so notice it's going to start to look like a dotted line. All right, now don't make your dotted lines too long, and don't make the spaces in between them too big. Okay, and if you're ready, I have a super special trick that I like to do. What I like to do, holding my needle, I like to go back through, and then back through, and then back through, and then back through. After you do a couple times, I pull it through. It's going to be a huge time saver. And then if I want to, as I'm going, I can take these pins out. I like to take them out as I'm going so that I don't stab myself with them too. All right, so again. And I like doing this too because it's going to make my thread really spaced out nicely. Before, let's see, when I'm about at this point, maybe a couple more stitches in. Actually, let me do a couple more stitches and show you. You can go all the way and start wrapping around the other corner. That would probably be the shortest I would make it. You actually can tie your knot with this slack. So the trick I like to use, I go through my loop. I'm going to take this pin out, go through my loop, and then through the middle of this hole, I tie it around again, and it's going to give me a nice good knot. I can do that a second time too if I want to. Now let's say that you sewed, I'm just going to keep going with this, don't do this. Let's say you sewed, and you sewed, And I get a lot of students that get to about this point and go, Miss Dulce, I need to tie this. This is going to be really tricky to tie. One suggestion I would give you if you get to this point, you didn't leave yourself enough slack, you can cut it off the needle, maybe let a little bit out. And then with these 2 strings, you can make a couple of knots. So I would definitely do more than 1 knot for this. Then snip off that extra end, and that's probably going to stay really well. Now, when you do this, I would just re-thread the needle, and you want to do 3 sides. Once all 3 sides are done, you can turn it in the inside out, and you're ready to do the next stitch. All right, now I finished sewing my 3 sides, and I flipped it inside out. Now what I'm going to do, you're going to do this for your pillow too, is fold it in about 1/2 inch. And make sure you get this little guy in there too. And then you're going to take some pins again. To hold it in place. All right, now this stitch is going to show, so you want to make sure you do a really good job. And I'm going to thread my needle again. All right, so since I don't want this to show, my first stitch is actually going to be through the inside, and I'm going to hide that knot. All right, now overstitch. It's called an overstitch because you literally are going over and around. You'll see, I'll do the next one a little closer. Okay. Okay, and you're going to keep going all the way till the end. And then you would put your stuffing in your pillow and sew it shut.